When I'm teaching Reiki, when I am teaching the chakras or energy healing in general, there is one theme or one topic that everybody wants to know more about, and everybody feels a little bit fearful and a little bit confused around. And that topic is intuition. Everybody seems to want more intuition, but when it's actually happening, a lot of fear shows up. In today's video, we're going to talk about what is intuition, how can we boost it, how can we have a better relationship with intuition, and why is it so difficult to listen to? So my name is Inge, this is the Healing Revolution, and you're listening to one of the videos on the Back to Basics of Energy Healing series. Today, we're talking all about intuition, one of these concepts that gets so blown up, so important, and yet people have so much confusion around. So let's try to ground that, relax around it so that you really can boost it and experience it in a really empowered, impactful way. Let's get to it. The way I like to understand intuition is probably different than most, but understanding it this way allows you to take a deep breath, ground, feels less special, less witchy, less only for the few. Because here's the thing about intuition. Every single human being has it, and your intuition is always talking to you. Always. And whether you're disconnected from it or not is a whole different question. But intuition, the way I like to define it, is really clear perception. So being able to perceive the world, the energy around us as it is without distortion. So that includes the things that we all agree on. It includes a really grounded reality. So there's a table here, a chair underneath me. I am talking into a camera. That is clear perception. I'm seeing things as they are without making up stories about it, without distorting it, without getting pulled into fear, without getting pulled into any emotional anything. It's just neutral and clear. And this also applies to the subtle realm. And this is, of course, what we talk about most when we talk about intuition, having clear perception around maybe what is going on in other human beings and their energy systems, what is going in the collective, what is happening with a work of art, what is working with what a certain plant needs. All of this information is there. Energy is information that vibrates. And so in a plant, there is this information. It is communicating with us what it needs. Does it need water? Does it like a certain spot with the sun? And when we pay attention in a way where we allow that communication to come without distortion, without making stories about it, that is when our intuition is at its best. And it really comes from a very grounded, relaxed place. So the more distortions and the more stories you're pulled into, the less you can see clearly. So boosting your intuition is actually a very ironic thing. It is actually becoming more and more grounded, more and more healed, more and more living in a neutral place from where you can see really what is. So this is the opposite of trying to activate things and trying to see further. What that actually does is it creates a lot more stress on your perceptual system and a lot of doubt and a lot of stress around it. And that is what I see most people do. It's not that it's wrong, because putting a little bit of stress on seeing beyond the veil, beyond the regular, does help. But it helps most when you're also really grounded and you let the world communicate to you. Because it is communicating, it is talking to us at all times. And most of all, there's a lot of information coming at us at all times. And what I've noticed is if we ask a specific question and we narrow down our field of perception into that question, that is when our intuition becomes the clearest. So I give the example of the plant. So if I'm just looking at the plant and just groundedly looking at the plant without really asking a question, all of that information is coming towards me, but it might not be relevant enough without a question. Now, if I look at this plant, I'm neutral, I'm present, and I ask, what does this plant really need? The plant I'm looking at right now, it might need more support and might need bigger stakes. It might need a little bit more sunlight. It might need a little trim. It might need me to talk to it. And all of that information now comes at me because I've opened a clear channel of communication with this plant by eliminating all the extra information. So your intuition, if you want to boost it, ask better quality questions. So a good question you can ask is what am I not seeing? Or where am I identified with things being a certain way? Denial is the enemy of intuition. It's normal. We're like, nope, I do not want to acknowledge anything there. So that creates a distortion in your field. You can't see in those areas. And so the final point I would like to make here is that all of your chakras and the healing blocks that they have are distorting your capacity to see what is creating stories and reactions and protections. So the more you heal, the more you do your chakra clearing, you do Reiki, the more whatever practice that helps you heal, there's a million. The more you do that, the more your intuition is going to be easy to listen to. So why is it difficult to listen to? Why do people come into these spirals of fear? Well, on occasion, the intuition, the clear perception comes through. But as it comes through, it wakes up all of our blocks, all of our zones that are still operating in a distortion. And as they wake up, well, that creates doubts, that creates fears, that creates all sorts of things. So the signal feels less clear and neutral than it really is. And it is normal, common, let me say, to have serious fears around your intuition because we have all, in some level, been conditioned in our societies to, quote unquote, fit in. And our intuition allows us to see through the veil of these conditionings. And so sometimes learning to really focus in and trust your intuition means going against the grain of what society says. And that is a biologically terrifying thing to do because we are leaving the tribe. And when we leave the tribe, well, we might find ourselves alone. We might find ourselves misunderstood, and we might, in sort of our tribal consciousness, we might die. And so the fear around that is quite strong. Now, don't let this stop you. Just allow the fear to move through. Allow the fear to be witnessed, to be seen. You can ask the fear, what is it contributing? And if it's valid, then it's valid. And if it's not valid, then you get to just let go of that energy of fear, and you've cleared the way for your intuition to become in that neutral, grounded place that we're all sort of looking for. Now, full on, my path with claiming my intuition has been a path of fear and terror, and I've explored through the witch's wound, and it's real. And so I just want to name that for us all here. But if you have one takeaway, get into neutrality. Do your healing work and the intuition will come. So that's it for today. I thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this video, you are sure to enjoy other videos in the Back to Basics series. You can subscribe here and check out the playlist. I highly recommend energy blocks, chakras, healing. These might be good videos to watch next. Now, if you want to go deep, I teach healing in everything that I do. And healing allows you to claim your intuition. But the most direct teaching I have, where I teach intuition in a whole way to set up energetically to be in that neutral space so that you can see clearly, is the Energy Healing Toolkit. And this is a toolkit for healing that takes you on a 6-week journey of doing your own healing, plus learning to guide somebody else. So this one is for people who have already done some healing work. But if you have the willingness to jump full in the deep end, and you're completely new to this, you are welcome there as well. Okay, see you in the next video.